just move his units out to really reinforce right there. Not too much damage, and Naama didn't really want to suffer too much damage. Unfortunately, this positioning kind of gave him away before he could come down and really attack the supply line for Naama. And now Sacrificial SCV is moving in. Mana does know that his opponent has expanded and is now working on saturating the third at the gold, so he's going to be that far behind in his economy, and so knows that he's not in an incredible amount of shape, knows that he needs to take his expansion right away, and right now might be caught a little bit off as Mana is going to be running in at this point. It does seem like Mana is a little bit behind, but depending on the Psi Storms, looking at the unit count, there are something like 15 High Templars out on the field and 19 charge lots there as well. So should be a pretty interesting battle when it goes down. I think it just really will bank on whether or not the Ghost can get off the EMPs in time. In the last game, it looks like a drop has been going down for Mana right here on the backside, and another drop now going as well, but the Psi Storm just doing a great job. Feedback going down as well, and looking at the cannons at the base, these drops are not going to be able to do what they need to do. Mana very well prepared in this game against his opponent, and just kind of doing a great job at holding off all the drops and supply line attacks, and just massing up in the middle at this point, has pulled ahead of Naama right now. And Naama trying to establish this gold expansion at just the wrong time. Unfortunately, EMP is going down onto the Templars, but most of the Templars are actually behind in the action. Ghosts are coming out, and Naama desperately trying to get the EMPs down, but all these Templars do have their everything full, and feedback being thrown down. A battle of the Templars versus the Ghosts. Psi Storm being thrown down as well out there, and now the Templars are morphing in. I think in this battle, actually, Naama came out ahead because of the well-placed siege tanks on the map. The PDD was able to go down as well. In the EMP versus Ghost battle, it looks like the Ghosts have won. So Naama came out advantageously right there and about to reestablish his gold expansion as well. Mana a bit behind right now, and curious to see whether or not Naama is going to be pushing in at this point, taking out pretty much any lone observer out onto the field, and feeling pretty comfortable at this point. Although the number of Ghosts, it looks like all the Ghosts were killed right now. A nuke is being researched as well, and the army for Mana at this point, 7 Templars and 13 Zealots, but a clear win for Naama during that battle. And but the economy of Mana, this lone Marine just blasting away out here, is going to die pretty quickly. It looks like there was a drop that happened that took out pretty much the backside right here. Was able to take out temporarily that the pylon, so depowered the robo facility. And here comes another push from Mana at this point, trying to get in there. Can the EMP go down in time? No, the feedback is being thrown down onto the well, a ton of Psi Storms going down, so Mana just pushing out ahead even though he's behind in the army count, and just doing a great job right there, but still loses, although is keeping things pretty decently even, and really trying to use the feedback to take out the Ghost as best as he can. So a huge Ghost versus Templar battle out here right now, and Mana going to be going ahead and taking this expansion right there. So I assume that Naama is going to be trying to do the same as well pretty soon. He has been behind, as Mana has been mining from the gold for quite some time now, and now a drop going to happen for Naama on the back end. Not going to allow this to, not allowing anything to happen for Mana for free, and dropping down right now. Looks like some of the transfer was about to occur. The charge lots aren't going to be able to do too much damage, but major action going down in front as well. Mana just going to be trying to focus on getting in here. Mana has a lot of guts for pushing at this point, is behind 134 to 118, catching the Ghosts off. That's going to be critical for him. Unfortunately, the Ghosts are a very important part, and just running all the way in there for Mana. Mana just finding a big hole in the defense of Naama. Naama right now, I think, has to force to try to run, try to defend, coming from behind. All the Templars still pretty much have their Psi Storm ready, so it's going to be a huge problem. I think he does not want to engage, needs to throw out. There we go. EMP actually going medevac in from the Ghost, so he can safely move in at this point, as the Templar aren't going to do too much damage. There's a few casts left, and Naama just really wants to avoid that side storm onto his army. Everything going down right now. I don't think Naama suffered too much damage at this point. Looking at the army tab, there is another drop going down at the gold expansion and is able to take out the Nexus from that point. So great back and forth from both players right now. Just massive action going down. Everything's still kind of even at this point. 89 over 91. Naama was able to take out that expansion and is holding down his gold expansion with a planetary fortress right here. So constant back and forth between the two players. Looks like there is harassment going down over here as well. There are multiple supply depots being thrown down in the back to prevent anything from going on. He was able to take down that Nexus. There's action like all over the map right now. It's kind of crazy. And so Mana and Naama just constantly battling each other out. That was a pretty interesting move that Mana was able to pull off, to run just right past him, and Naama was waiting for his ghost before he really wanted to engage, to saw how many Templars were sitting there in that cluster. And what is going on? There's a ping right now for something going down. But multiple pings going down. I'm not entirely sure why. But looking at the army, it looks like Naama is ahead 129 over 102. Ghosts and Templars battling it out right now for both players. So a very micro-intensive and kind of strategic game for both players. Naama just not giving up at all. Trying to hit as much as he can. And during key battles, just all over the map for both players as well. Taking a look at their APM, 208 over 154. That is really crazy, as both players are just spamming, not even spamming away at this point, just doing a great job macroing on both sides. And it looks like Naama now going to be taking over the watchtower, so trying to push ahead a little bit. Mana constantly trying to get his macro up and running, and even despite all the major drops, just does not let go as well. A bunker being thrown down right in front of the probe line, a kind of a risky bunker for Naama to throw at this point. Really wants to draw in the tanks, and feedback going down on the Ghost. Multiple side storms going down as well. The Ghost was not able to throw off the EMP in time, and the risky bunker is going down there. So tons of feedback going on right now. It looks like Naama is going to be pulling ahead at this point, because he does have a significant number more units out onto the field. And Mana, a nuke is being cast right now. Everyone just running away from that nuke. The nuke is going to be canceled, I think, before everyone was able to get out of there. And keeping an eye on the minimap right now for all the crazy action that is happening at this point. The bunker actually finished despite all the craziness that did happen there. Naama is up 133 to 112 at this point, and going to be running into the back. Going to be just poking away at the front of the line. Really wants to draw all the units in towards the tank fire. The charge lots are able to run ahead, though, and so does not have enough tanks to really make a huge difference. Look at that feedback going down, and a ton of side storms. The EMP wasn't able to be dropped. Naama's army was temporarily split up just a little bit right there, and a bunch of Templar left wandering the field. This back area not really down there in front, and most of his attention now being thrown down onto the field as well. Naama is still up 102, 103, although the army count is closing at this point. One of the Vespene Geysers was able to be taken down. Naama's forces actually might be able to do more damage if they actually ran down into here at this point, because this Nexus isn't mining as much, and now it looks like Mana going to be going for a retaliation onto the backside, or maybe just checking to see if there's any other expansions out onto the map. Finally, the forces are coming down to take care of this Nexus. It does not look like there's going to be too much of a defense right there. He's going to be summoning in a few Templar, trying to throw down the side storm if he can, and he does throw it down just in time and pops pretty much every unit out onto the field. So taking a quick look at the at the armor, and it's going to be 1-1 for Mana, and for Naama, he's just upgraded +1 on attack right now. Both players playing a very macro intensive game. Naama desperately trying to keep up the missile turrets for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why he's building the missile turrets. I think in case anything happens out there, or possibly in case DTs start coming randomly out onto the field. So kind of a precautionary measure at there is really no air. The Ghosts really need to get off that EMP, but they're being fed back before they can. And a pretty decisive battle now going on in the middle. Lots of tanks, and Naama trying to split up the forces as best he can so he doesn't get all that side storming down onto his army, although it is raining down on him right now. And it looks like he's going to win yet another battle right now, but a ton of reinforcement coming in for Mana at this point. And wow, looks like because of the proximity right there, Naama kind of overextending himself just a little bit. The reinforcements able to arrive much quicker for Mana right now. And looking at the army count, Mana has done a great job kind of holding things out, and right now is actually evening it out and taking a bit of a lead right now. So Naama is going to be expanding right here, but this expansion is going to go down pretty quickly for him. And now retreating away, unfortunately just lost that battle, wasn't able to reinforce quite as quickly as Mana was, and just kind of lost that battle right there. So a ton of really crazy battles going on right now, back and forth on both sides. Naama doing his very best to try to push ahead, but looking at the income tab, both players are actually pretty even. It looks like Naama has been behind pretty much the entire game in terms of his harvester count, and really has mined out of his main and unable to take down, was kind of went for the riskier expansion right here, and really just probably try to focus on the backside or near his side of the map before overextending himself. This orbital command is kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere, going to try to reestablish itself at some point, but unfortunately losing that expo right now. Mana is actually pulling ahead, strangely enough, even after all that pressure, and with Naama being ahead pretty much the entire game. So Mana just doing a great job keeping everything and just constantly reinforcing, and now just going to be pushing in here. Very dangerous for Naama as he's almost mined out of the gold right now. He cannot lose this expansion and is losing just a bunch of SCVs, waiting to reestablish himself. A ton of the... It looks like the EMP was going down for Naama, and it looks like he might be winning the battle, but now all the Templar are streaming in, and a ton of Psystorm is coming down right now, wiping out most of the forces of Naama at this point. And now the Templar are just waiting to throw down the Psystorm. Finally the SCVs are retreating at this point, but it looks like Naama, unfortunately, is pretty much mined out of everywhere at this point, and is going to be severely behind in this game. Now down 113 to 42. So despite the constant pressuring and the constant number of times that this Nexus did go down for Mana, he was able to hold on to it right now and really has established himself already for the late game. Meanwhile, that risky expansion from Naama right here, and going to try to retake it, as that is really only the thing he's mining from right now. Looking at the income tab, 51 over 19 harvesters, a ton of harvesters going down everywhere. Naama in a lot of trouble right now as he cannot replenish, and Mana just going to be pulling ahead. So trying to do a drop on the backside as well. It looks like Mana going to be already mined out there as well, but now this drop is coming in for Naama, but it's a little bit too little too late, unfortunately, because of the huge discrepancy in the army count. And I think Naama realizes right now just how far behind he had fallen because of the expansion. And look at the reinforce. I mean, just summoning in a few charge lots, and the Templar allow him to reinforce. A GG and a well played from Naama, so compliments all around. And great job from Mana for taking this game, playing a very good Protoss versus Terran. Takes down Naama 3-2 and wins the Go4SC2 number 35. So great job from both players. A very fun series to watch. A lot of back and forth. I don't know who is still in the game at this point, one of the casters, but leaving a little bit late. Maybe just very excited from what was going on and casting everything as well. This has been JC StarCraft. There we go. It was Eno. JC StarCraft, and I am signing off.